elders, youth, Dr. Manigani, Minister Curry, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Darlene Bernard. I am the chief of the Lennox Island First Nation. I was born at Stewart Memorial Hospital, and I won't mention what year. I am here tonight to give you a Mi'kmaq perspective on the announced closure of our hospital. I am here tonight because the members of my community have been served very well by the doctors and nurses of Stewart Memorial Hospital for more than 62 years. Those members of my community are deeply concerned and worried about the further erosion of services at our hospital. I feel a little deja vu here tonight, and I'm sure I'm not alone. Every few years, governments of different political stripes have come to this community to tell us that we can no longer maintain services at our hospital. And every few years, the communities rally together and stand up for what we, the people, know to be in our best interest. If you read your history, those governments that mess with our hospital pay a heavy price. We usually send them packing. Well, my friends, the time has come for us to stand up once again. We have to fight to keep our hospital and ensure that essential services are maintained for the 22 communities who rely heavily on Stewart Memorial. For the Mi'kmaq people who call Lennox Island home, the erosion of health care services at Stewart Memorial Hospital will have a profound negative impact. We have a great little health center on Lennox, which serves us well under its limited mandate. But our people have long utilized Stewart Memorial as our primary health care facility. It is where we go for all the services that are now being taken away by closing this hospital. Blood services, x-rays, suturing, casting, convalescent, palliative, and respite care. I have attended the meetings in Alberton and Surrey, and from what I can gather, when the dust settles, I don't have any confidence of where my people are going to end up, and the plans that are being presented across the island are not acceptable to rural islanders, and it is not acceptable to us. As you know, the Federal Reserve System was not created by the Mi'kmaq. Our ancestors moved freely about our island and our Mi'kmaq territory, known to us now as PEI, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland. We call this territory Mi'kmaqi. We lived in harmony and balance with Mother Earth, and all our needs were met. When the settlers arrived, we welcomed your ancestors with open arms, showed them how to survive the harsh cold winters, and we even married a few of them, all good looking ones. We signed peace and friendship treaties with the Crown, vowing to share the bounty of our resources with our new friends. We were not conquered, nor did we surrender our lands and our natural resources. Since the Mi'kmaq at that time had no use for money, and we were a trusting people, and for the most part we still are, our new friends would become the stewards of our share of the development of our resources. And I'm getting to a point. In essence, the white government would set up a trust, and all our needs would be taken care of from this trust. That's what the treaty was all about. Since we never signed away our rights to the bounty of our natural resources, we fully expect the trust to take care of our needs, especially with regards to the essentials of healthcare, now and into the future. Our treaties state, as long as the sun shines upon the earth, as long as the waters flow, as long as the grass grows green, our treaties will endure, and peace will prevail. These are the words of our ancestors, yours and mine. So, there is no end to our treaties, and we're not going anywhere. Over time, the Mi'kmaq were forced into small parcels of land, and we were restricted from fishing and hunting. Our whole way of life changed. We could no longer travel freely around our lands, and we could no longer hunt and fish to feed our families. Our people began to suffer in every way because we were being marginalized and forced into colonization. The government's actions have had a very profound negative impact on the Mi'kmaq people. This is no different. Everyone in this room can attest to the hardships, the poverty, and the effects that government systems, such as the residential schools and the enfranchisement of our women, have had on First Nations people across the country and here on Prince Edward Island. And yes, I know everyone has an opinion. But what I will say here tonight is this. The fact of the matter is that the government has a fiduciary responsibility to the health and well-being of Aboriginal people in this country. The Lennox Island First Nation has struggled to survive, and by all accounts, we're doing well. We have adapted to life on a reserve. We are fighting to take our place in industry and business, and we have every intention to continue to contribute to the economy of this great province. We commissioned an independent study that shows that with just the mere existence of 2 First Nations on Prince Edward Island, we contribute more than $70 million to the provincial economy every year. I am confident that with the development of our businesses, that number will grow exponentially into the future. So we take great pride in the community we are continuously building. But we are very cognizant of the fact that in order for us to thrive and have all the programming and services that we need, that all islanders deserve, we need to look to surrounding communities to enhance and complement what we have on reserve. Living on the reserve is the only life many community members know, and Lennox is the largest reserve on Prince Edward Island. So to expect band members to move to urban centers to access health care will do nothing but put more Aboriginal people out on the street. In times of illness and great distress, the Mi'kmaq need to be close to our families. The Mi'kmaq need to be involved in their culture and traditions at every stage of their lives. Far too many of our communities live at or below the poverty line. We cannot afford to travel distances to get essential health care, and the ability of family members to provide support is greatly diminished. I would go so far as to say, out of reach, because they will simply not be in a position to travel all over PEI looking for their loved ones. And as of right now, we have no idea where they're going to end up. We really don't. What I see happening here is a devolution of care. We seem to be going backwards. I remember we talked about it all the time. It seems that we were going from a model of care that is centered on individual's best interest. That's what we were doing before. It was all centered on the individual. Now it seems that we're being pushed into a model of care that supports government's agenda of centralization. This proposed plan would hurt us all from one end of the island to the other, regardless of whether it is in our best interest or not. Well, unless you live in Charlottetown. I understood from the lady, from the Queen E, who spoke at the Surrey meeting the other night, that the Charlottetowners don't really like to go out to Surrey, so they don't have to. They get to stay in Queen E, close to their homes and families, while the rest of us are subjected to traveling 3 hours back and forth. You know, that's more than going to Halifax. You may as well go to Halifax. And I ask you, where is the better access in that? Without this hospital, the Mi'kmaq people of Lennox Island, as well as all people who are served by this facility, will be put at a serious disadvantage. And I would go so far as to say that too many needing care will not afford to get to it. Many people have made and will make valid points regarding rural hospitals. I would like to put these 3 forward. Before any change can take place, the government of PEI must undertake a detailed needs assessment for the 22 communities served by Stewart Memorial Hospital, and no, sending out a survey doesn't cut it. I can't sit in an office in Charlottetown and pretend to know what the impacts of reduced healthcare services will have on the wonderful people of West Prince. Last summer, the government of Prince Edward Island, under the signature of Premier Robert Giss, signed a consultation agreement. That agreement stated that the government of Prince Edward Island would consult with the PEI Mi'kmaq on matters that impact us. This is a very serious issue that impacts the Mi'kmaq directly. and we have not been consulted. This meeting tonight is not consultation. It is the government once again telling us what is good for us. This paternalistic approach has never worked well for the Mi'kmaq. I don't know how it's going to work well for us here tonight. Tonight, this minister is here to explain the changes that are coming, not to seek input. In addition, the Premier also signed the Canada PEI Mi'kmaq Partnership Agreement with us. It committed the province to work with us towards improving the lives and outcomes of the PEI Mi'kmaq in 5 key areas, including health. Any action taken by the province to implement proposed changes at Stewart Memorial will violate the spirit of these landmark agreements and set us back years. I have known the Premier of PEI to be an honorable man. I have known him to be true to his word. On June 4th, 2012, the Premier of Prince Edward Island, the Honorable Robert Gist, told us, Dr. Mangani, a few of the friends from Stewart Memorial Hospital and me, that as long as he was Premier, Stewart Memorial Hospital would not close. From what we hear tonight, we no longer have a hospital. We have a manor. Mr. Premier, we look to you for your word. We expect you to honor that word. Our members struggle every day to maintain a close connection with our proud history and traditions. It is through this that we find balance and well-being. Our government should be helping us with this, not making it more difficult. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to stand here and fight for Stewart Memorial. This hospital has been so much more than a healthcare facility for the people of Lennox Island. I would even go so far as to say the great people served by the Stewart Memorial Hospital are family. A family that is unique in its needs for care, but steadfast in our values of respect and tolerance for each other's diversity. This institution has played a defining role in the lives of many in this room tonight, as well as countless others who are no longer here with us, but who have taken their last breath in the rooms of the Stewart Memorial Hospital, surrounded by their families and friends, in an environment that respects the sacred traditions of the Mi'kmaq people at this time of great sadness and loss. This facility is home to many Mi'kmaq who can no longer be cared for in the community. Minister Curry said at the meeting in Alberton that his belief is that we need to keep people in their homes longer. I wholeheartedly agree with that statement. However, I don't think the minister has a clear picture of the reality of the situation we as leaders are faced with today. For the last 10 years, I have struggled with this ideal. But the reality is that our elders and yours are suffering more and more from complicated medical issues, and they need nursing care. We can't provide this level of care in our homes. So we do need long-term care beds. No one's disputing that. But we also need the palliative, the respite, and the convalescence, and yes, we need acute care beds in this area. We need a hospital. Stewart Memorial Hospital has been that hospital. I understand that the rural hospitals in this province make up a very small percentage of the whole province's health budget. I think that somebody was saying 11% if you kicked in with Prince County. But anyway, I think that Stewart Memorial Hospital is a very good bang for the buck. In closing, the government has an agenda. This agenda is not in the best interest of rural islanders. This agenda is not in the best interest of the Mi'kmaq Lennox Island. We stand united against government's plan to turn our hospital into a manor. Our needs are great. Our hospital has proven to meet the needs of its clients for more than 60 years. The government slogan, better access, better care, and the right care in the right place, it's a great slogan. Well, I say, Stewart Memorial Hospital is providing better access, better care, and it is in the right place. This facility has looked after so many of our people for many different ailments, and has been there to support us at the most traumatic of times. We have been treated with dignity, respect, and love by the staff who work there. This hospital is worth fighting for. I am proud to stand with you, my family and my friends, and fight for what is in the best interests of all residents served by Stewart Memorial Hospital. Thank you, and may God keep you all safe.